Hi, Bill Henshaw here again. My YouTube uh, current events videos, and this is abortion part two because it occurred to me after I finished the first part. Now think about this for a minute. If the government owns your body, and it does, how could any government agent possibly get convicted for rape when at best all he might be doing is misusing property that the government owns? Oh, think about that a minute and carry it a step further. How could any government agent get prosecuted, even for quote unquote murder? Think Breonna Taylor here, George Floyd, and others that have suffered just this kind of a fate. Oscar Grant, there's another one locally out here in California. If the government owns you and they have complete control of your life and everything about you, where's the problem? What rights have they violated here? And why should you be prosecuted if you haven't violated anybody's rights? I mean, that's how bizarre the thinking is with these bastards behind the scenes, especially at 120 Broadway, New York, New York. There's just no rights that we have that they're bound to respect. And the sooner we get that fixed, the better off all of us are going to be. It really is astounding. But then this is a society that's gone from when I was growing up, from Ward and June Cleaver. And now what do we have? Smiley Byers, Rihanna. I mean, you name it. And it's everywhere. And of course, even young children have access, full access, often to internet and see all this crap like this growing up. And their minds are warped before they probably even hit fourth or fifth grade, if not before that. I mean, it's just no picture of what the American life used to be. And while it wasn't perfect, in my generation, for example, we still grew up thinking we could do better than our parents did. So many people you find, going to school these days that think that. I'd love to see an accurate poll on it, if there could be one taken. So that said, it's just the mindset, these one world people and these eugenicists and all that to think they own everything and control everything. And it's what we sooner or later have to change. The failure to do that uh, will lead to far worse living conditions than what we have now. The good news for me is personally, I won't be around to see them. I've got a good 8 or 10 years, maybe a little more than that with some luck, but I've lived my life, pretty decently for the most part. Although I'm, by the way, now 15 years all in where I can't even apply for a job. And I got fired from my job at the airport, after almost 20 perfect years. But it didn't matter when I announced to them that I had rescinded my social insecurity account number and now wanted to take home, all the property that I earned. And I gave them chapter and verse, black and white. What I didn't know then, I know now. It's about state versus territory and about deceit, fraud, and treason. And for those of you that don't know, there's no statute of limitations on that, especially in our courts. It goes back to the English statute of frauds of 1679. They very carefully conceal all this crap that they don't want you to know. That's a quickie here. I'm just going through some books that my friend brought me back that were boxed up, and because they had to get rid of them and move them to MySpace so I could keep them here. And I came across a comparatively, uh, what's the word I want, contemporaneous history book, into the 19th century, 1900, American history book. What did it have in there on Reconstruction? Hand to God, they didn't even have 2 pages on that subject. And that's arguably the most important era in American history. And in 1900, they were doing this and keeping it out of the textbooks and out of school. I had no idea it was that bad. I mean, I didn't hear a damn thing when I was in school, 50 years ago, especially about Andrew Johnson, except that he was the first president that was impeached. They didn't tell you why, and that he survived the impeachment by one vote. But if I had read one of his veto speeches, for example, the Civil Rights Act or the Reconstruction Act, my life would have been different 50 years ago. Andrew Johnson's #1 on my rankings of presidential lists. Like they say in the CIA and out there in Langley, Virginia, black is white. If they have a Johnson at the top of the list, it's Lyndon Johnson, landslide Lyndon. But probably their #1 president is that fucking fascist Franklin Delano Roosevelt. But those of you who understand why Andrew Johnson would be first on the list, we're going to have a lot to talk about. Because there was a man who did everything he could to prevent what he saw coming and wasn't able to do it with the radical Republicans in control of Congress. So that said, just some more thoughts here about the abortion issue, and this gets a lot of people's attention. So maybe this is why we make a hard push here, and get out there and start taking these issues to the courts and see how we do with it. By the way, to get more information on my material, send me an email, uwinnincourt@gmail.com. Remember to like the videos, subscribe, tell your friends, get the word out. The sooner and quicker we act, and across the board, Americans, Asians, and Africans, the quicker we get these bastards off our back. Thank you.